Hello and welcome to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. We are here with a new version of our Kentucky Derby top 10 list brought to you today by our friends at twinspires.com and Twinspires Tournaments. Go over to the twinspires.com website, navigate to that tournaments tab, and see the full list of contests they have coming up, all of it leading to horse racing's newest major, the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge. Pleased to be joined by Jonathan Kinchin. JK, before we dive into this list, we'll give a little bit of an update on some of the names who are out for now anyway. Englishman is out of our top 10. You know, I think we saw this coming from the late start that he got. Still a very exciting prospect, but not on our top 10 list for now. We'll wait and see when he makes his return to the races. Blackout Time, a little bit disappointing. It was just his first race back. Not one that I'm saying, oh, off the trail or anything like that, but I do understand why Eric DeCoster, who makes this list for us, has decided to leave that one on the outside looking in for now. Another one who is off the trail, Plutarch, dealing with an injury. He'll be out. So we have some AEs. We're going to save them. We'll hit them maybe a little bit rapid fire as we go on. But we're going to kick off with our new number 10 on this list, Class President. So visually impressive with that big race in the Rebel yesterday. And it was a 91 buyer speed figure. This horse, only the third career start. You can see why there is excitement for Class President. You can certainly see why Eric has committed to putting him on the list. What were your thoughts on the Rebel in general? Class President getting the job done over Silent Tactic.
Yeah, I mean, it's good enough. Look, this is going to probably feel very underwhelming for people watching. I've trained myself to not fall in love with prep winners in a mile and a 16th. I'm gathering information. So as these things come along, you pick things up. Class President ran well enough. He's going to have to run significantly better for him to be someone that I consider for the Kentucky Derby. He deserves his space here, but it's a lot of wait and sees with a lot of these types.
Speaking of wait and see, you're not going to have to wait too long to get more of a line on the next runner on the list. That's number 9, Further Ado, the son of Gunrunner. He's probably going to be entered in the Tampa Bay Derby for this weekend. Hopefully, schedules are going to align. We're a little bit later in the week. We have a Tampa Bay Derby preview video for us. This one's been moved down a little bit by Eric. He's not thrilled with the way the form of that Kentucky Jockey Club race is holding up, and says there's a dearth of hype around this one. Going to have Eric for a much longer visit on the audio side coming up this week as well, if folks want even more content about this year's Kentucky Derby at this stage. But yeah, Further Ado, we're going to know a lot more this weekend, and I have a feeling you're not going to have much more to say than that.
Yeah, well, he's also there's someone else we're going to talk about really quickly on this list that they're likely going to be in the gate together. So we'll be able to, I think maybe 8th. Is Canaletto 8th?
Indeed, we can segue right to Canaletto, who is by Into Mischief and seems like one who's poised to make a big move on this list and in the markets in general if he can win this Tampa Bay Derby, a race which, again, since it hasn't drawn, we're not going to be making any predictions about here, but I definitely get it. Has that best buyer of 89 in the hands of Chad Brown, just seems like a horse who, you know, you can see from that maiden win at Gulfstream back on January 25th. I mean, all the potential in the world, right?
Yeah, I actually spoke to Chad yesterday. He's excited to see what this horse does. He's excited to see if he's going to take the next step. He feels like there's more to learn about him, and he's going to learn it this weekend. So that should be exciting. Another one that can take a jump forward. That's what this time of the year is, that really that tweener time where some of those late maidens are meeting some of the horses that have been a little bit more established, and then the hierarchy begins. I'm looking forward to that Tampa Bay Derby.
Another name on our list, another super sire, Chief Wallabee by Constitution. You talked about taking a step up. We were curious what kind of a step up he was going to take in the Fountain of Youth. We'd heard all the chatter, thanks to our friends Randy Moss and Jerry Bailey, about how Mott would have gone in an allowance race potentially for this one the week before had it filled. It didn't. Decided to get ambitious in the Fountain of Youth, and he was rewarded because this was a big step up for me, JK, and we'll be looking at the tape here of this Fountain of Youth. Not only was he second with a 100 buyer speed figure, but I thought he had a tricky trip, compared to the winner, who we'll get to in a bit, for whom, as Pete Aiello said in commentary, the Red Sea parted on the inside. Chief Wallabee went farther than he did. I was actually almost surprised there wasn't, I don't think there should have been a takedown by any means, but I was surprised there wasn't an inquiry to the degree to which Commandment drifted out and nearly impeded him in the stretch. Chief Wallabee had every excuse to be a little bit short and still ran what the Brits would call a blinder. I was excited about him going into the race. I'm more excited about him coming out of the race. Where are you with Chief Wallabee?
It's pretty simple. I think a lot of horses that overcome adversity and then run fast are horses that really do have my attention at this stage. Chief Wallabee, I don't think he was meant to run as well as he did with his light racing career. I thought he had overcame that adversity, ran really fast. He's definitely one I'll keep my eye on moving forward, and could be even potentially be higher on this list for me.
Oh, that's very interesting to hear. So yeah, you're right with me there. Let's talk about Silent Tactic. I had said coming in that last time was the time you wanted to have him. Well, I mean, maybe technically because he won last time and was second this time, but second doing everything but win. He earned the same figure as class president did in the Rebel with this 91 and showed he wasn't just the product of a great setup the last day. This is a horse with some finish. Now, for both these horses, Class President and Silent Tactic, I do wish the figure was a little bit faster, given some of the horses we've yet to get to on this list and how fast we know they can run. But I do have to sort of hand up that I think I had underrated Silent Tactic, at least going into the Rebel, and I'm going to take a long look at him when he turns up next in, presumably, the Arkansas Derby. What did you think of Silent Tactic?
I'll keep underrating him for you.
Make the negative case.
No, he's just running not fast enough, and he's done it on a couple of occasions with situations that kind of work in his favor. There's nothing to get excited about today.
Are you saying this is a horse that might have a Derby with a state in the center of the country that's not Kentucky attached to his name, as opposed to one of the bigger prizes?
No, I'd love to own him. I just don't see him winning the Kentucky Derby.
Right. It is different sauce than even, you can win valuable prizes running in the mid 90s, right? But you're not going to win the Kentucky Derby, and he's going to have to get faster. It's true, if he wants to do that. A horse who's run very fast is next on the list, but still has some real questions to answer about the distance. We're going to get some big clues this weekend. San Felipe Stakes at Santa Anita will be the next race, I believe, for Brant, who comes up next on the list. This is a horse that you and I have both kept a little bit at arm's length. And I'm really curious to see how the composition of the San Felipe looks. But if he wins that impressively, he's going to justify this spot on the list and maybe even move up. How excited are you to see Brant run this weekend?
Yeah, I'm excited to see him run. I'm either going to love him at the end of the day on Saturday, or I'm going to hate him. Not hate him as a four-legged animal, but hate him as a Kentucky Derby prospect. We'll find out. There's really nothing to talk about with him. He's either going to show up and run really fast and run really well and appreciate all that time to grow up a little bit, or he's going to show up and just look like he was a schoolyard bully who kind of picked on a couple of horses that weren't as good as him back when he was a 2-year-old. We'll find out immediately as the gate opens, and about a minute and a half later, we'll know exactly who he is.
We're going to find out some major clues this weekend. There's no doubt about it. Number 4 on the list is Commandment. We were a little bit oppo in our analysis of the Fountain of Youth. You were very much with Commandment. I was not. Your opinion was proven the better one on the day, because Commandment not only wins, but does so again with a really nice speed figure. I think he also got the same 101. No, Wallaby got a 100. He got a 101. Really nice figure for this time of year, especially. How excited are you now for Commandment going forward, and how much crowing do you want to do about being right about the Fountain of Youth?
Oh, no crowing. He's a favorite. He's one that when you run a triple digit buyer at this point of the year, you've got my attention. They all got to pass that next test, which is the 1 1/8. That I think is the next stepping stone to getting to that 1 1/4 of the Derby. He's in the right hands with Brad Cox. He's interesting for sure. But I've seen a lot of horses that run this well at a 1 1/16, and that 1 1/8 hits him in the head pretty aggressively with some other talented horses. So some of the horses on here, I can already tell you, like, there's no way I'll be betting them in the Derby. This is one that I could certainly see myself falling in love with another performance.
Eric's rationale, unassailable. Ran huge and can probably get even better. And I think he's putting that down to the hands he's in and the blood into mischief. Grade 1 winning. I think Sipican Harbor was a grade 1 winning dam. Stakes winning at the very least, and being by orb. Every reason to believe Commandment could continue to improve. Number 3 on the list, Renegade. Another into mischief. This one out of Spice is Nice by Curlin. Another Todd Pletcher runner. The winner of the Sam F. Davis Stakes. Probable next start is the Arkansas Derby. Another one who's been treated with a lot of respect by the future markets, both domestically and internationally, around 6-1 last price quoted. I'm more excited about some other horses on the list, but this one I think is clearly a consensus top 5 overall, and I don't mind Eric having it number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do 3 and 2 at the same time. Renegade and Paladin are the same. They're the kind of same story for me. They are horses that showed a lot of precocity at 2, ran extremely well in the Remsen. Both of them did. Then they both came back and ran huge in their debuts as 3-year-olds, which makes me feel comfortable because they're both really good. And they both of their performances make the other one believable. I look for them to take another step forward when they have opportunities to go a little bit longer. But I've been very impressed with both of them, but basically because they share that common day in November or December, whatever the Remsen is, where they ran against each other.
Paladin is number 2 on the list. The only controversy, it's not even controversy, but I could make an argument. He did enough in the Risen Star and gave a visual impression where if it was the PTF top 10 list and not the ITM one, I would probably have this horse on top, even above the runner that we have there. I'm sure you all know who it is by now, but I get it. I think you make excellent points about how he and Renegade have justified sort of each other's presence this high up on the list. They will not be in the same starting gate next time. You would think Paladin will be going to the Bluegrass following the Chad Brown approved path to the Kentucky Derby. I was excited about him from race 1, so I'm still pretty excited about him now. Before we get to number 1 on the list, I will roll through some AEs that Eric DeCoster had. Folks looking to do some deeper dives might want to check out the form on some of these horses. Iron Honor, who won the Gotham Stakes, could have done a little more for me visually and in terms of time, but I can see why he's still tracking. This horse did run a 95 figure the race before. The 91, I think it was, earned in the Gotham. He's also got Emerging Market here. He's holding on to Blackout Time, Intrepido, Golden Tempo, Chip Honcho, Secured Freedom, Litmus Test, who ran with some credit this weekend, but I do think is a tier below, as Eric has noted, based on the form that we have in front of us. Power Shift, another one he has as an AE. But number 1 on the list is Nearly, has that best buyer of 98. Impressive win in the grade 3 Holy Bull, presumably going on to the Florida Derby. Todd Pletcher has a strong hand in this year's Kentucky Derby, and I do think Nearly probably his best chance as of now. What do you think? What do you think about Nearly being number 1 on the list? Where would he be on the JK personal top 10 list?
Yeah, well, JK wouldn't have one because, but not in a. I just there's so
you
many
don't want
unknowns.
the responsibility, and neither do I.
Well, it's just there's so many unknowns. It's fun to talk about, but because it's exciting to get ready for the biggest race of the year. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, he deserves to be up there. He's talented. He's tactical. He's in the right hands. He's with the right pedigree. He's got all those things. He's run fast. He looks like he's got an opportunity to take another step forward. We'll find out in the Florida Derby. It's the answer for a lot of these. There's still a lot of proving ground for them.
Anybody who didn't have Nearly in the top 5 of their Kentucky Derby list, I would wonder what their criteria were. Let's put it that way. He certainly deserves to be talked about at this stage of the game when it comes to the Run for the Roses. We've got so much more Kentucky Derby content coming down the pike for you. Thanks one more time to the sponsors of this video, our friends over at twinspires.com. Make sure you go to twinspires.com, navigate over to the tournaments tab, and take a full list at all the terrific contests they have coming up nearly every racing day, and make sure you get yourself qualified for the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge. And please subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. Hit us with comments too. Who's your number 1 contender for this year's Kentucky Derby? We'd love to hear. We love to interact in the comments as well. So please get busy and get that done. And if you're not already subscribed, really, we know more than 50% of you aren't, and it really helps us out if you do. So please subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel, and we'll be back with more horse racing content very soon.